Hey people, it's Steel Gamer here with a Diablo 3 video that's titled Complaints about Fair Play in this game are just stupid. And let me explain what I'm talking about because I've made this video specifically for somebody named metorblade on the forum. So getting right into it. Obviously you think I'm dumb and everything else, but if you bear with me, it'll make perfect sense. So let me begin by explaining this game is not programmed fairly in any way, shape, or form. So to even try to imply that it's a competition is just ludicrous. So let's start with Blizzard's programming and the pre-programmed biased lists Blizzard has set up so things are favored over others, which means it's no longer RNG. If you want to say it's RNG because it's still a list and being picked from, that's fine, but that's not what I'm talking about. RNG requires everything in the entire game to be picked at an equal rate. When the lists become favored, so ones are picked more than others, i.e., Juggernaut, Arcane, and Illusionist, that is no longer actual RNG. You can't have RNG and then have it ignore the list a part of the time just because you lowered the appearance rate or the percentage rate of something showing up over another. That doesn't work that way, and that's totally unfair because if somebody gets bogged down with Juggernaut and somebody gets hardly any, that's not a fair thing, and that reverts back to the programming. Same thing applies to enchanting, appearance rate of items, stuff coming off of Kadala, things like that. If everything in the game is not programmed equally to show up equally or have a chance every time it's gone through the list to pick, then it's biased and unfair. So therefore, in that regard, it's not fair play, in which in turn cannot be used to determine who is the best just because people are getting lucky. Second thing, Paragon points have been exploited since at least Season 9. That's as far back as I can remember. They've probably been exploited before that, but they've been exploited in various ways, and there's no way to stop it. So to even state that the leaderboard should be able to use Paragon points as fair play is ludicrous as well. Next, you get into Primal. If somebody gets a Primal and somebody doesn't, that alone unbalances the game. Whether or not somebody can use the Primal isn't even valid to that, yeah, if you want to say everybody has the chance on having a Primal, that's not the same thing as anybody actually having it. If somebody gets a Primal and somebody doesn't, the person that has it has an unfair advantage whether they can use it or not. That alone, the situation is what gives the unfair advantage. So, in order to have equal play in that regard, everybody either should be getting primals, or primals should not be counting any times at all as the leaderboard because it's another unfair and balanced act on that particular aspect. Now, you have people that are exploiting the system. There's a difference between an exploit and exploiting the system. There's a two-character exploit that allows people within 2 weeks of season to start doing GR 125 to GR 135, which in turn allows the obnoxious ranking of gems, which is then used to augment their gear, which then is now used to rank the gems even further, so when they go off solo, now they've just basically exploited everything. Now, you take seasonal leaderboard when it becomes non-season and transfer it to non-season, and guess what? Now, you have the exploited Paragon levels being mixed with the other exploited Paragon levels, and now you have a jacked up, unbalanced, totally biased, and non-legitimate leaderboard. So, when you combine everything together, for you to say it should be fair competition, you need to start with Blizzard. And you need to start with not allowing the favoring or unbalancing of things, of items that people get or may not get. Unless you give everybody Primal, not everybody gets them, and it's unfair to allow somebody to use it that doesn't. That is not showing who's better. That's just a matter of who gets lucky. Same thing with Paragon points. So, if you want to have a legitimate season next season, this is what needs to happen. The entire item list and everything else need to be programmed so everything has an equal amount to show up everywhere. Nobody is allowed to use Paragon points because for the sole fact that they've been exploited, and nobody should be allowed to use Primal. Do that and put that against the leaderboard, and now you'll see who's actually good. There's a difference between people exploiting and getting lucky and then actually people who know how to play. So that's all I'm going to say is TL Gamer signing off. Have a good day or night.